Start with the great name of Allah, who is the most beneficent and the most merciful. Hello, Assalamu alaikum. This is Musadiq Hussain from BBA4 Section D. Before starting, first of all, I would like to thank Sir NOOR KHOSO for assigning us the topic on which we worked, and it was very amazing. So, I'm here to discuss poverty causes and consequences and government initiatives about it. So, let's get started.
Pakistan has been considered among the developing countries. Like other countries, Pakistan is also dealing with its problems like corruption, terrorism, illiteracy, unemployment, and poverty. Poverty is one of the major social problems for Pakistan. Poverty can be defined as when people cannot afford their basic needs like food, clean water, shelter, and health facilities. It is not only the problem of Pakistan, but the whole world is dealing with it. It can be said as poverty anywhere is the threat to prosperity everywhere. So, what are the causes of poverty in Pakistan and what will be the consequences? Let's discuss the causes. Number one is the unemployment. Unemployment is the main cause of poverty. According to statistical reports, the unemployment rate in Pakistan is 4.1% in 2019, since it is projected to increase up to 5.5% in the end of year 2020. Hundreds of doctors, engineers, and other skilled and educated persons are out of their job. No job means no money, so it creates an opportunity for poverty to increase. In Pakistan, there are no opportunities available for the young people to exploit their skills or abilities in the right path. Pakistan is dealing with this issue very poorly. The most terrifying and the fearing part is that the poverty is increasing every year because of the increase in unemployment rate, showing it to be dangerous for the Pakistan's economy and also for the other sectors as well. Unemployment creates frustration, stress, and anxiety for a jobless person, forcing them to take their lives as well. Most of the Pakistan's universities produce hundreds of graduates every year, but these graduates are failed to get the jobs because there are no jobs available in Pakistan. But because of that, people get unemployed and they suffer the poverty. The second cause of poverty in Pakistan is because of the inefficiency of government policies. The policies made by government are usually made on the recommendation of the politicians who have less knowledge and awareness about the issue of local people. The government does not stay long on a single decision. If a policy made by government has been failed, then they make another policy without analyzing the causes of the failure of the previous policy. The people are under the burden of heavy taxes as well. However, Pakistan have many natural resources. Still, government is unable to utilize these resources to make more opportunities in order to reduce poverty and increase the employment rate. Although the government of Pakistan has developed many programs in order to reduce the poverty, like SAS program, which provides scholarships and cash to the poor peoples in order to help them in the survival. But Pakistan is unable to create more jobs for the people. The other cause of poverty in Pakistan is the overpopulation. Overpopulation is also the leading problem in Pakistan, which is creating a burden on the economy of a country, which has caused to increase poverty rate. Every country has limited resources, therefore it is hard to deal for a country having overpopulation. According to the report of Delhi Times, Pakistan has become the fifth largest nation and the population has increased up to 220 million in just 72 years. Poverty and overpopulation is considered as a positive relation. Population increases, then it will also cause the poverty to increase also. Since the jobs are less number in Pakistan and the people are more, it can be taken as an example that if a single household person has a job and it has 8 family members, so it is hard for at people's family to depend on only a one earning people household person. After overpopulation, corruption is the another cause of poverty in Pakistan. Corruption can be defined as a dishonest act in order to achieve private gains by misusing power. Every sector or institute is affected by corruption. Because of bribery, favoritism, nepotism, merit has been completely destroyed in our country. Due to this, poor cannot afford huge amount of bribe in order to get a job. Because of this, only rich people get the job and poor remain the same. Therefore, poverty increases. Poverty can also be increased due to inflation. When the prices of goods and services increases, it is hard for local people to afford their cost of living. Therefore, they suffer from poverty. Inflation can be caused by decline in economic growth, lack of policies, and depreciation value of currency. During the COVID-19 phase, all businesses were stopped. There was no economic growth. Hence, the prices of commodity increases and it caused problems for the people to survive. Now we are discussing the consequences of poverty. So, what are the consequences of poverty? Number one is family problem. Due to poverty, people are having tough time in affording their cost of living and in affording the health, clean water, shelter. These are the basic needs which they afford. They might want to get, but due to this, they have a very hard time in paying electric bills, gas bills. Due to the inflation, the every bills have gotten a heavy price on them. Since the inflation has increased and the cost of living is burdening on a single family, so it is hard for a person or a family member to deal with all these issues. So it creates an also psychological impact. It creates anxiety, stress, depression upon a family member. And because of poverty, people are not getting a proper treatment in government hospitals, and since they have to go to the private hospitals for the proper treatment, and the government inefficiency of hospitals, people are not going toward them and people prefer private hospitals, and therefore it creates also an issue for poor people to afford all the billings of private hospitals and treatments. And the last is the crime rate. Because of poverty and the crime rates has been increased in our society. Because of the hunger of the people strive and they show anger, and therefore it caused several incidents like murder, kidnapping, and stealing, theft. In order to reduce the poverty, government has taken initiatives. Number one, a student loan scheme. So they are giving a students loan for the education, so it will increase the literacy rate in Pakistan, which will be helpful in eliminating the poverty. And number second is the SARS program, which is also giving scholarships and cash giveaway to the poor people, so they can afford their cost of living. And the third is Benazir income support. They provide Rs rupee 3,000 to the poor people on their monthly basis. So these are some initiatives of government which are playing their role in eliminating the poverty in our country. Recommendation and policy suggestion. First of all, corruption is a major issue in Pakistan, so therefore we must take action towards the corruption. So Pakistan government should create an anti-corruption bodies or anti-corruption institute. Like we should empower the NAB so they can arrest or they can catch the people corrupt people in our offices, in our institutes, so it will be helpful for us to deal with them. And secondly, we should deal with the education system in Pakistan. We should focus more on the education system because the merit has been decreased, and with related to the neighboring countries, our literacy rate is being low. In rural areas, there are schools which are KHOSO schools. There are no teachers, no students, no any facility for providing any education for the students. So therefore, education is the most important part in our lives and it plays a major role in our economy. So therefore, we must focus on. After that, Pakistani government need to focus on esports and freelancing, the online way for earning and learning. So In order to create more jobs, we need to focus more on it, and the world is going towards the online phase, and we need to adopt these things instead of banning them. Thanks for your precious time.